Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of Falls Count Anywhere. We're not going to be doing news and reviews and rumors and all that fun stuff today. No, not today. Today, we're going to be running down the card for WWE Payback. It's happening in less than 24 hours. It's a Raw branded pay-per-view, but there are a couple of SmackDown Live stars on there. We're going to be running down the card, my predictions, and everything that's expected to be happening. Let's do it. What is up, everybody? I am your humble, gracious host, Robbie Diesel. This is Falls Count Anywhere. We got to start off with the pre-show for WWE Payback. For whatever reason, Finn Balor is not on the main card. He's been relegated to a segment on the pre-show doing the Miz TV, and I'm not sure why. I have no idea why. These two haven't really interacted much on Raw since the Miz came over during the Superstar Shakeup. I guess it sort of makes sense for Finn to have a high-profile feud on his way back. He'll for sure end up in the title picture eventually, but I don't think Miz TV is the way to start that out. The Miz has had one of the greatest years of anybody so far, but I would think over the last few weeks he would be more likely to be involved with Dean Ambrose than with Finn Balor. Makes no sense. No sense at all. Also on the pre-show, we have Enzo and Cass going off against the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. These two have kind of interacted back and forth over the last few weeks, and I think this is going to be more or less kind of a throwaway match until the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro finish up with their rivalry, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. I think the Good Brothers are going to go over. I think Enzo and Cass will sort of continue to slide down the card until, again, we figure out exactly what way the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro is going to go. The two teams honestly haven't really, again, interacted a whole lot over the last few weeks. So it seems like this is just kind of a match that was put together just to showcase the tag team division from the Raw brand. My prediction, Gallows and Anderson going over. Easy. On to the main card. The main card is kind of stacked. There could be a little more depth here, but overall I'm satisfied with it. You have Samoa Joe facing off against Seth Rollins. You have Austin Aries going against Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. The tag team titles are on the line. The Hardy Boys are facing off against Sheamus and Cesaro. You have a Raw Women's Championship match between Bayley and Alexa Bliss. You have the United States title on the line. Kevin Owens, who is now on SmackDown Live, versus Chris Jericho. The stipulation is if Jericho wins, then he in turn will move to SmackDown Live. You, of course, have my most anticipated match, which is going to see Roman Reigns square off against Braun Strowman. And then you have the House of Horrors match, which pits Randy Orton against Bray Wyatt. Whatever the hell a House of Horrors match is. So we'll start all the way at the top. I think the match to kick off the show is more than likely going to be Samoa Joe facing off against Seth Rollins. This match has been a long time coming. It started a while ago when Samoa Joe made his debut on Raw. He injured Seth Rollins in the process. Almost took him out for a second WrestleMania, but Seth Rollins was able to fight back, and he made his triumphant return actually at WrestleMania, defeating Triple H, and made it known that his next target was Samoa Joe. I like the build for this match. They've been interacting with each other week in and week out on Monday Night Raw. They've been attacking each other, backstage segments, the whole shot. If I had to make a prediction, which is why we're here, I would say I think Samoa Joe is going to go over. I think he's going to end up winning with Seth Rollins. And this will not be the last in this rivalry for sure. I think we're going to see 1 to 2 more additional matches from these two. And given the time frame, I would just as soon say we may even see these two collide for a final time at SummerSlam as one of the marquee matches. But as for Payback, I'm giving the win to Samoa Joe. Next matchup will be Cruiserweight Champion Neville facing off against Austin Aries. Again, these two have been at it back and forth since WrestleMania, and honestly, they have one of the better matches on the WrestleMania card. Austin Aries has been on fire lately, as has Neville. He's been red hot since his heel turn and his whole King of the Cruiserweights gimmick. I do like the chemistry that these two display, and I think that they once again will have one of the better matches on Sunday. I think that it's going to be Austin Aries who goes over in the end. I think he'll capture the Cruiserweight title for the first time, and that will give Neville enough room to re-challenge later on, and then that'll give us some fresh rivalries. I expect to see Austin Aries defending the title against a newly healed TJ Perkins at the next Raw pay-per-view. So my prediction, Austin Aries goes over Neville and wins the Cruiserweight title for the first time. This match, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I'm a big fan of the Hardy Boys. I loved the Team Extreme that they worked before they left WWE, and then became an even bigger fan of the whole Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero gimmick that they worked in TNA. I sincerely wish that that would have been brought over sooner to the WWE, but all signs are pointing towards that making a return. And I think what is going to accommodate that return is a loss to Sheamus and Cesaro. That's right. I think the Hardy Boys are going to drop the tag titles to Sheamus and Cesaro at Payback. And I think after the match, we're going to see a heel turn by Sheamus and Cesaro. You're going to see Cesaro. It's been teased. Very, very eloquently teased on Raw. Tensions have been kind of boiling over between the two. Both Sheamus and Cesaro suffered singles losses to each one of the Hardy Boys respectively. And I think what's going to happen, there may be, some sort of antics during the match or maybe even after the match where Matt Hardy is going to catch one or several bro kicks, and that's going to flip that switch in his head to where he starts working the broken gimmick. And I honestly cannot wait for that to happen. I think it'll be one of the most popular things in WWE, similar to some of the stuff that the New Day was doing while they were running with the tag titles. But I think we're going to see the old switch off, which is Sheamus and Cesaro gaining the titles, and then eventually we'll see a triple threat match, probably at the next pay-per-view. I'm thinking Sheamus and Cesaro goes over though. The United States Championship match, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Their match at WrestleMania kind of disappointed. It wasn't as stellar as I thought it would be, and given the two men involved, you would think they would have just excellent chemistry and they would be able to put on a 5-star match at will, and that could potentially happen. I'm going to go ahead and throw my prediction out now. I think Kevin Owens retains, just solely because it is very, very well-known knowledge that Chris Jericho is headed out to tour with Fozzy coming up soon, promoting their new album, Judas, and I don't foresee Jericho winning this title. If he won the title, that would mean he would be off of TV for quite a while he tours with Fozzy, which would also take a title away from SmackDown Live, which they cannot afford right now, especially considering there's already a title that's off of TV in the form of the Universal title, which is somewhere in Saskatchewan with Brock Lesnar. I think Owens is going to win this match, especially considering he has a date with AJ Styles at the next SmackDown pay-per-view. So, yeah, kind of a no-brainer here. Owens goes over. It might end up being a squash match. Who knows? That's my prediction. The Raw Women's Championship. We got Bayley going up against Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has also been white hot lately. She was easily the most entertaining part of SmackDown Live, and I think it'll translate well over into Raw. I think this is going to be one of those things where WWE is going to slowly but surely talk about history, a historic moment. And I think this is where we're going to see Alexa Bliss defeat Bayley for the women's title. And I think that the historic part of this is that Alexa Bliss will be then known as the only woman actively to have held both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. I think that's why she was moved over to Raw. She definitely makes more sense as the women's champ than Bayley does right now. Bayley seems to be better in the position of chasing the title, and we know that there's a Sasha Banks heel turn coming up soon, and I'm thinking that is going to happen either at Payback or sometime shortly after. We're going to see Sasha and Bayley feud for the #1 contendership. Meanwhile, Alexa Bliss is going to run for a few months with the Raw women's title, at least until she runs in the Nia Jax. My favorite match of the evening. I'm so excited for this. Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. If you have not been watching Raw the last couple of weeks, you have missed some of the most amazing television in wrestling history. We've seen Braun Strowman beat the holy hell out of Roman Reigns. We've seen him throw Roman Reigns off of a stage while strapped to a gurney. We've seen Braun tip over an ambulance. We've seen him slam the Big Show and destroy the ring again. We've seen him literally throw Kalisto into the trash. It's been amazing. The stuff that Braun Strowman has done has been nothing short of incredible. And this is why I'm so excited for this match, because I think they're going to pull out all the stops. Dear sweet heavenly wrestling gods, do not let Roman Reigns win this match. Please don't. It would feel too much like 1980s Hulk Hogan. Like they would, WWF at the time would have these giant monstrous dudes, and they would just destroy everybody in the company, and then they would run into Hulk Hogan, and they would beat the crap out of Hulk Hogan for the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the match, and then Hulk would Hulk up, and then 3 hot jabs, a big boot, and a leg drop later, the match was over. Don't do that, WWE. You have spent too much time making Braun Strowman look like a monster. Don't feed him to Roman Reigns, especially considering Roman has been off of TV for 2 weeks. You've spotlighted Braun. Let him have his moment in the sun. Let him defeat Roman Reigns after a tremendous match. We know both men can work. Braun is capable of putting on a good match, as is Roman Reigns. I think it's time for Roman to drop one clean and maybe have that self-doubt, and maybe even have Braun start to claim that it's his yard now. I would love to see that. The fans would love to see that. I think secretly you would love to see that. It makes sense to have Braun truly be the monster that he claims to be. Don't let him be a monster except for when he's facing Roman Reigns. Don't do it. My prediction, Roman Reigns loses, hopefully partially dies in the ring, and stays off of TV for a little bit. Okay, I don't hope that he partially dies, but I do want him to lose. Braun Strowman definitely wins this match. The final match on the card, the House of Horrors match, which nobody knows what exactly that means. I don't even think Bray Wyatt knows what that means. It could be something like the Asylum match that Jericho and Dean Ambrose had, where they basically duct taped a bunch of random weapons to a steel cage. It could be something like the Boiler Room Brawl. I have no idea what the hell that means. I'm curious about it. WWE has done their job in making me curious about it. We know that it's not for the title, which means there's a very good chance that Bray Wyatt could very well win. He could win this match. I know. Bray Wyatt could win a match. Mind-boggling, for sure. I think the House of Horrors match is going to be similar to the Hollywood Backlot Brawl that Roddy Piper and Goldust had at WrestleMania. probably even closer to the final deletion match that Jeff and Matt Hardy had in TNA. What I mean by that is a portion of this match, or maybe even the whole thing, will be pre-taped off-site, so that gives time for Bray and Randy to work safely and securely while they do the gimmick of all gimmick matches. And then if it doesn't end in the remote location that the match is pre-taped, then more than likely the rest of the action will spill over into the arena and we'll see some quirky thing happen. Maybe, hopefully, a new member of the Wyatt family debuts and helps Bray secure the victory. That way they can end this rivalry on a high note. Bray goes on to Raw to hopefully feud for the Intercontinental title with Dean Ambrose and The Miz and whoever else they decide to throw into the mix. And then Randy Orton returns to SmackDown, where he has an upcoming match with Jinder Mahal for the WWE title. That's what I'm thinking. So, my predictions: Gallows and Anderson over Enzo and Cass. On the pre-show, The Miz is going to get beat up by Finn Balor. It's inevitable. You're going to have Samoa Joe going over Seth Rollins, Sheamus and Cesaro over the Hardy Boys. You're going to have Austin Aries over Neville, Alexa Bliss over Bayley, Owens, of course, over Jericho, Braun Strowman finally beating Roman Reigns clean, and then Bray Wyatt winning his whatever the hell a House of Horrors match is. Alright dudes, those are my predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? What the hell is a House of Horrors match? Tell me. Let me know. You can also tweet along with me as the pay-per-view is rolling. I'll be live tweeting it. I'll be looking forward to interacting with all you guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe. There's a ton of other wrestling stuff on this channel, so go back and watch all the videos in the playlist. My name is Robbie Diesel, at Robbie Diesel, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams, on the Snapchats, all of the above. Follow me on there for more wrestling conversation. Thank you guys so very much for watching Falls Count Anywhere, and I will see you next week.